The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Kootenai County Fire, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 40335. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting first at the front bumper, you'll find on the angled edge a emergency warning light side facing. 2 tow hooks protruding through the front bumper. These are direct pull, 6,000 pounds, are not intended for towing your vehicle. You'll also find dual air horns on the driver's side. Let's move up onto the bumper extension, where you'll find a swivel discharge on the front officer side. You'll also find storage locations for hose located in the front bumper. Moving over to the driver's side, you'll find topside mounted your mechanical siren. Let's move up onto the cab face, where you'll find your marker turn indicator light on the outer edge. Just inside that location, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam is located on the inside. Just above that emergency warning light cluster, we have 1 on an angle and then also 2 forward facing on each side. There are grab handles for gaining access to the windshield area, 1 on the passenger and 1 on the driver's side, and also 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move out to the A pillar, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. And we move up to the brow of the apparatus, we'll find 5 identification clearance lights at the very top section. As we move up onto the roof of the apparatus, we do have a light bar located at the very top, but let's take a look at the forward-facing floodlight that spans from one side of the cab to the other. Moving up onto the roof section, you'll find your emergency warning light bar, and also inside the light bar in the center is your opticom. Let's take a look at the full view of the apparatus, and let's focus in on the cab section next. First, starting with your front axle, where you'll find Alcoa wheel, Goodyear tire, and a visual sight gauge in the center of the axle. Also, you'll find your emergency warning lights on the front bumper extension. As we move into the step well, a few things here. We have your air inlet and then also shoreline inlet. As we move up, easily accessible with a gloved hand, these are your door lock and latch combination. They are keyed locks. Right next to it, you'll find the grab handle for gaining entry in and out of the cab while maintaining 3 points of contact. Down in the lower portion of the cab area, you'll find your def fill location and also an emergency warning light, part of the lower emergency warning lights. As we move up, you'll find a side-facing scene light on the lower section of the cab. And then toward the rear cab area, you'll find an LED water tank level indicator. Let's move now to the midsection. We're going to come back to this section in just a few moments, so we'll carry on to the body next. Starting first with your wheel chocks stored in the folding position at the rear of the apparatus. There are 2 located here. In front of the axle, you'll find your marker turn indicator light, and then also an emergency warning light directly over the rear axle. This is also part of the lower emergency warning light package. As we move up into the upper section of the truck into the hatch area, you'll find 2 side-facing scene lights, and also at the rear, an emergency warning light, part of the upper emergency warning light zone. Onto the rear of the apparatus, brake, turn, and reverse lights on each side. We also have lower zone emergency warning lights just below the unit identifier and then also on the passenger side. As we move up, you'll find upper zone emergency warning lights, and then in between the 2 of those, you'll find a rear scene light. Also, you'll find D-handle gains you access into the ladder storage location, and then 2 areas for long-handled tool storage. As we move back down in the center, you'll find your backup camera. It does have a protective shroud, and then also you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge on the right side or passenger side. Also, recessed traffic advisor. And as we move all the way up to the very top side, we have some folding steps and a platform step, and then your hose bed in the very back section with hose bed dividers that are movable. Let's move around to the passenger side of the vehicle. Same configuration and layout. We'll move into the rear body section. The difference here is we have our exhaust ported on this side. And then into the midsection, we'll come back to that area in just a few moments and cover that. And then back onto the cab section, same configuration and layout. Let's go back to the front bumper area where we'll find our swivel discharge and then 2 hose storage location, one on the driver's side, or I should say officer side, and then one directly in the center. Let's take a look inside this area. First, we'll start with the officer side. This is a 2.5 inch and then additional storage here for hose. In the center section, we have an 1.5 inch with hose storage. Also an informational note here regarding warning, tanglement hazard, because the line's coming from that area. Let's go ahead and move inside to the driver's space. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle. In the step wheel area, we'll find our air inlet and then also our shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp. Let's move into the seat area where we find at the base of the seat, when plugged into shoreline power, the battery voltage status center will illuminate battery status. Also, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. It also houses the VIN number, fluid capacities, component fluid capacity, and also fluid type. As we move to the floor, you'll find your air horn, foot pedal, mechanical siren, and brake treadle and accelerator. Up on the left knee of the driver, you'll find your master battery switch. It's the quarter-turn silver tech module and engine transmission ABS diagnostic port, along with ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit, and also a display port. Let's move up for some switch panels located here. You're going to find first rear work light, load manager, diff lock, and mirror heat. We'll find the stationary OK to pump and roll indicator, water pump, foam system, and low pressure, high temp indicator. To the right, you'll find your flat mirror and convex mirror control. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system and airbag. It's located in the front steering column, along with some light control located on the left-hand side. As we move to the dash, you'll find your ignition and start switch on the left, an EM switch labeled for emergency master. This engages or disengages all emergency lights. Headlight switch and a panel switch. Also on the opposite side of the column, you'll find your OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch, tachometer and speedometer in the center cluster, diagnostic information above and below. As we look to the right, you'll find your command zone screen. It is a touch screen and function button just below that. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Let's move just down from this location to the switch panel where you'll find your engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, off-road traction, tire chains, and perimeter lights. Just down, pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. This is the yellow spring brake. To the right, Allison transmission pad, push button, digital readout, informational note to pump in neutral. As we move just to the right of that location, you'll find climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost, and then also 12-volt access via USB-A and barrel style. Further to the right, same thing, we have USB-A and also barrel style. As we move up toward the front of the apparatus, toward the windshield, you'll find this red and white indicator indicating spare wiring behind the panel. Let's go ahead and go above the driver's seat where you'll find this placard, yellow, indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 2 inches, length of the vehicle, 32 feet 7 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating, 49,800 pounds. If you make any adjustments to your vehicle that might alter any of this, please update this placard for your operator. Also, 5-digit job number 40335-01. Switch panels for all your emergency warning lights in the upper left-hand side. As we move just to the right side, you'll find all of our scene light activation and also Opticom and a siren brake. Moving further to the right, you'll find your traffic advisor control module. And then once again, moving to the right, we're going to find a digital pump pressure readout. Let's look to the center at the roof level where you'll find your seatbelt information. Red, someone is in the seat and not belted. Green, they're in the seat and belted. Along with your red light indicating do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment door open or ajar. In the very center, we have an additional storage box located in the front. As we look toward the rear wall of the cab, you'll find 2 forward-facing seats which do house SCBA brackets and then compartments on each side. As we look to the exterior, we're going to find adjustable shelves, LED lighting. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheel, and a visual sight gauge into the center area. Let's go ahead and move into the crew cab area next. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, grab handle, and also manual window control. Overhead, you'll find your air conditioning unit, push on and off white or red lens lights. Let's take a look at the EMS compartments, roll-up compartment doors inside. And then as we look toward the rear portion, you can see that we have netting located on the rear area. Let's look overhead just over the EMS compartments. You'll find additional storage. This is directly behind the driver and officer head. Adjustable shelving, LED lighting, roll-up compartment doors. Inside these compartments, we're going to find shoreline power. When plugged into shoreline, this will become active. In between the two of those compartments, you'll find a lift and turn latch. This is access to your daily checks for oil and transmission, along with a 12-volt USB-A located on the rear portion of that compartment. Here's a look inside the the access location for oil and transmission checks. Overhead, and then as we move to the opposite side, onto the driver's side, same configuration, 2 adjustable shelves inside the compartment, access here to power via shoreline, and also inverter power. As we move to the forward-facing compartments on the rear wall, and in between the seats you'll find USB-A. There are 2 sets of those. You can see the location here in between the 2 seats. And an additional photo here of the driver's side compartment. Let's go back to the exterior. Down in the lower corner, we're going to find our DEF fill location. 7.3 blue cap. Let's take a look behind. This is your blue cap here for DEF. We're now going to move into the pump panel area and crosslay area. Let's start first at the very top section with the crosslay. Let's move up to the very top now, where you'll find your Stokes basket storage area. Also at the top section, you'll find a 2.5-inch crosslay. Let's take a look at the top here, a little close up. Then we'll move into the lower section next, where we have 2.5 inch discharges, also a warning placard here indicating entanglement hazard. As we move into the pump panel area, we'll start in the upper left. We have 2.5 inch discharge locally controlled via ball valve. Also a pressure warning, caps may be under pressure, be cautious when opening them. Also, you'll find the Pierce logo, American flag eagle. This is your large diameter pump inlet. Warning here regarding fall, always face the vehicle when climbing on or off. And then also your foam fill, and also a warning placard regarding the foam fill for not mixing different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled, and all of our colored drains down at the very bottom. This is connected to the do not move your apparatus. This will flip out to make the surface area larger for your step gaining those crosslays. We're now into the pump area. Let's start at the very top section. If you've engaged your pump from inside the cab, you'll find the OK to pump light illuminating. Also, as we move to the left, you have a pump overheat visual indicator. Also to the right, you'll find a foam system manifold pressure. And then into the gray area, we're going to find your master intake gauge and master discharge gauge. In between the two of those, test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure, currently plugged for testing purposes. You'll find on the right the PCM fault indicator, and then also an audible alarm, and also high pressure hydraulic and high temp hydraulic. Let's move just down to the next pump section, where we'll start with all of our discharges. They are color coded and labeled. The red is indicating that they are foam capable discharges. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find your fire pump primer push to prime air, 1000 RPMs for best practices. To the right, you'll find your pressure throttle governor with an embedded water tank level indicator. As we move down, you'll find your Husky 3 foam system specifications, deluge discharge, and Husky foam system module and tank level indicator. Also, passenger rear discharge, 2 electric discharge valves for the passenger side, tank to pump, and also your recirculating line tank fill. As we move down to the very bottom section, you do have a light tower. That's the control module for it, and all of our color-coded labeled discharge drains. As we look to the panel in the upper right-hand corner, this is your access location for foam operations. Let's take a look inside this compartment where you'll find this yellow handle located inside. And then on the back side of the door, which is currently not present, you'll have instructions here for foam fill and then also foam operations. Currently set, it's in the operation mode. Foam fill would be in the vertical position. Across the very bottom, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move to the vertical sidewall where you'll find our switch panels for driver's side scene lights and passenger side scene lights, along with our minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250. Also in the same area, you're going to find a warning placard indicating only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after they received proper training. Into the compartment, you'll find your battery charger, and then you'll also find when plugged into Shoreline Power, that will be active along with your inverter. We do have a toolbox, 4 drawers located here. As we move to the over wheel compartment, an adjustable shelf in the upper section. In the forward section here, you'll find either air pack storage or extinguisher storage in this spot. And then just below, you'll find your wheel housing an aluminum wheel, Alcoa, and then also Goodyear tires. Let's move just to the rear of the rear axle where you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 2 bottles with retaining straps. Also your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location, which is the silver cap. Let's move now to the rear compartment. As we start in this compartment, you'll find adjustable shelves in the upper section and then a pull-out tray in the lower section, floor mounted. The release for that lower mounted tray is located on the low right-hand side. Let's go ahead and move to the next image where we're going to find all of our compartments open on the driver's side. We'll move around now to the rear of the apparatus next. Starting first with all compartments open, let's start just above the ladder storage area where you'll find in the upper section a 10-foot folding attic ladder and then also storage location for additional hose storage. Down in the lower section, 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof storage location. D-handle gains us access. Below that, we've got some cup switches, one for the rear scene lights and the other is for your hose bed lights. Let's look to the hose bed itself where you'll find netting at the rear and then also hose bed dividers in those sections. There are 4 hose bed dividers that are movable. As we move to the rear section, couple warning. First, entanglement hazard. Also fall, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. And as we also look to the lower section, we'll find a pull-out tray, floor mounted, release located on the lower right. A couple of those warning placards. One was a pressure hazard warning. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the upper right-hand side, we're going to find pike pool storage and then also D-handle storage location here. We do have some fold-down steps on the exterior and then also a placeholder step at the very top section just before you transition to the roof area. As we move to the passenger side, we'll start with a pull-out and tilt downward tray. That's in the upper section, and then a fixed tray that is adjustable, and then a pull-out tray in the lower section, release located on the right. On the vertical wall section, you'll find a Shoreline inverted outlet. As we move to the over wheel compartment, you'll find your tool board located here. D-handle gains you access. When it's open, it will lock into position. On the hinge side is where you'll find the lock. Let's move to the rear axle storage area behind the rear axle. SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps, 3 bottles. As we move to the rear axle, you'll find Alcoa wheel and once again Goodyear tires. Let's move now to the forward section where you'll find additional SCBA bottle storage for up to 3 bottles with retaining straps. Let's move just down slightly from this location. This is where the exhaust tailpipe is located. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle. As we move forward, we have adjustable shelves in the next compartment and a divider. Let's now move into the pump panel area. We'll start first at the very top section. Same configuration and layout as we have on the driver's side, but let's take a look on this side. As we move down to the pump panel area, we'll start down in the lower left-hand corner with your cab lift. There are instructions for its operation. On the placard itself, some warning placards regarding fall, always face the vehicle and climbing on or off. Also, large diameter pump inlet, which is the American flag eagle, and also pressure warning hazard. Down in the lower corner, you'll find your 2.5 inch. It is an electric valve, so therefore we do have an override. And then down in the lower portion, you have your large diameter discharge. It is an electric valve and has an override. In the left lower corner is your auxiliary inlet, 2.5 inch, locally controlled via a ball valve, and then all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. There's your large diameter discharge with override. Same as the driver's side as we have on the passenger side, we have a step here that does fold outward to gain additional surface area. It is tied to the do not move your apparatus. Let's move into the cab section at the rear portion of the apparatus. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel are safety and warning placard information. We're going to find manual window controls, door lock and latch combination, and a grab handle. At the very bottom, we do have reflective material when firefighters are opening and exposing the door to traffic. As we look overhead, you'll find push on and off red or white lens lights and your air conditioning unit. We've kind of worked through the inside of this area. As we move now to the exterior behind the officer seat, you'll find adjustable shelves in this area. There are 2, and LED lighting. As we move to the front axle, you'll find a visual sight gauge into the center, Alcoa wheel, and a Goodyear tire. Let's now move into the officer space, where you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information. We have a grab handle, manual window controls, door lock, and latch. As we move into the cab area, in the lower right-hand corner is where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Your vehicle also is equipped with a supplemental airbag, SRS, in the front bolster area. You can see that now. You also have a warning placard indicating information about that airbag. Please do not mount anything within its vicinity. We do have a lowered dash in the front section and a box light on the lower right-hand side. As we look to the left-hand side of the engine area, you're going to find a mechanical siren push button and then also a mechanical siren brake. Overhead, we're going to find at the very bottom section near the visor is your FireCom wireless headset interface. Just above that location is the FireCom base station with volume control and also squelch. We do have additional switch panels located within this area. Just to the left of this location, you'll find scene light control for front flood, driver side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene. Also, you'll find these red and white labels indicating spare wiring behind the panel. Please don't remove until your maintenance team has had an opportunity to take a look at that. Also, you'll find all compartments now open on the passenger side. Let's go ahead and move up onto the roof area and into the dunnage area next. First, let's take a look from the rear facing toward the cab area. And then we'll move just forward of that location into the cab area. You'll find that this is a non-walking surface, and we have these placards indicating that this is a non-walking surface. Let's move now into the dunnage area where you'll find your master stream device. It is an extend-a-gun. It's also got top control for open and closing the valve, and then also you'll find your Husky foam system reservoir located in this space. As we look to the fill location for your Husky system, just down in the lower portion, you'll find the black cap. Now moving to the wheel control for your master stream device or deluge. And then just additional storage area here. The yellow reflective is indicating the edge of the walking surface. As we move to the forward section, you'll find your night scan Wilbert light tower. Also, you'll find top fill location for your foam tank We have a warning placard here indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. You'll also find top fill for your water tank. Let's take a look from the front to the back of the apparatus. Fully enclosed hose bed cover, and you can see the yellow diamonds indicating the edge of the walking surface. With the hose bed cover in the open position, you can see the hose bed dividers. There are 4 and they are movable. We're now going to move into some chassis photos. There'll be no additional audio from this point on. Congratulations, Kootenai County Fire, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 40335. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.